Hey guys, it's Shawn Ziem, the host for the Webtalk Legends Podcast. It says 798, it's supposed to be 79 episodes we've done so far. And it's all about sharing. The guests are going to share their story. We're going to learn from them, their trials and tribulations, things that have happened in their life, in business, and that they can share. And we're going to, hopefully, you're going to implement and take action on topics that we're going to talk about. Housekeeping, those that are popping in live, please, the least you can do is drop a hashtag live. If you're on the replay, hit hashtag replay in the comments. If you're one that likes to engage, ask questions, drop a comment where you're watching us from. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that share button, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. But let me bring on a good friend of mine, Shawn Anen. What's up, man? How are you?
Oh, man, doing great. How are you?
Thanks so much, man, for joining us. And I want to have some fun and learn. I do these so I can learn more about my guests. A lot of people don't listen. They like to think about what they're going to say next before, and instead of just listening, which is crazy. But I like learning from others. And before we even get down that path, Shawn, I always ask this: who are you and what do you do?
Shawn Anen. I am a realtor at Keller Williams Prosperity, and I got my 12-year-old son calling me. He's probably going to call me 10 times because he wants to go fishing. So yeah, Shawn Anen, 20 years in the business, actually over 20 years in the real estate business now, as of August or July.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man. It's been a wild journey. Been in the business full time, over 20 years. Run a team now. We pretty much service all of New Jersey, North Jersey, Central Jersey, South Jersey. We just signed a deal with an expansion partner in Florida, so we're going to be working on the east coast of Florida there, South Florida. So yeah, exciting stuff, man. It's been a wild couple of years in the real estate market, and I was talking to my coach yesterday. This year we're up about 15% from last year, so which was one of our best years. So even with the crazy interest rates, low inventory, we're still selling houses, man. So
it's great. It's great to hear that.
We're looking to grow.
That's the right mindset. A lot of people are not growing. They're sitting back trying to find what's going on. They don't have a coach that's in their corner, helping them, motivating them.
So you need people in your corner. I think more importantly, you need the right people in your corner.
And for that, and I love how you said your business is increasing. Let's talk about some of the bad things that have happened over the years. Mm-hmm. Anything that you could think of, business, family, life in general, things that have happened to you that you've overcome and has made you a better man.
Yeah. Look, man, there's always bad stuff around, right? But I'm kind of like one of those people that you can take any situation and learn from. So a little background about me, like I don't really like share this a lot, but a little background about me. I grew up without my dad. I didn't know my dad, and it was my mom. The only thing I knew about my dad were the stories my mom would tell him, and they weren't always positive. And honestly, probably like 12, 15 years ago, something like that, my aunt reached out to me on Facebook, my godmother, who was my dad's sister.
Okay.
And, she wanted to like reconnect us and all this stuff. And I didn't respond to her. And in 2020, I tell you, it was actually March 19th of 2020, when we know what was going on around
there.
We were there were 3 people left in my office. It was me. No, I'm sorry, 4 people. It was me, the guy Bill in my office, our bookkeeper, and her husband, who was an agent here in my office. And everybody was packing everything up. We're like, all right, shutting down the office. We'll open it in 2 weeks, right? Yeah. And everybody's shutting everything down, and like everybody's packing their stuff and get my laptop. And like I just opened Facebook Messenger, and my aunt had texted me again, or she sent me a message again on Facebook, and she's like, I reached out to you years ago. You never responded. She's like, I'm figuring because you don't want me to tell your dad. And she's like, don't worry, that's not going to happen anymore because your dad just died yesterday.
Oh, man.
I was like, damn. I'm like, and, there's part of it is like, I never knew my dad. I always had this resentment for my dad and all this other stuff because I never knew him and all the stories I learned about him. And at that moment, talk about some bad things that kind of like shifted my trajectory, energy going into the next couple of years. I had some time to really sit with that. And that's something I had to come to terms with, because it was always like, I didn't talk to my dad on my terms. Like that was kind of like my, I guess my form of control over the situation. And then at that point I lost that control. And then I started thinking all these things, like, did I gyp my kids out of meeting their grandfather, which they'll never get to meet, right? Like, She sent me all these pictures and all this stuff. He was a professional caddy, like a caddy for Giuliani, for Clinton, like all these crazy people. Wow. She sent me these pictures for it. I'm like, man, and like he just looked like a normal dude. No other kids, I had no other siblings or anything like that on his side. So, it had me, we went to freaking COVID times, right? Like locked in the house, and so I probably drank more than I probably should have. And I think when I came to that realization, almost a year ago at this point, that changed the outlook that I had on the entire situation, and has kind of since set me free. I feel like I went through a little bit of a dark period of that time afterwards, just sitting and thinking about it, right? Like there was one part of me that's like, I shouldn't care, I never knew him. There's the other part of me that's like, with my dad, like right. So yeah, like talk about some kind of mixed emotions around an interesting situation. That's one personal experience I think I could share.
I appreciate that, man. That was very transparent, guys. This is real. We're being real here. There's nothing scripted, and I didn't know that, and I appreciate.
I didn't know you were asking this question, so like I had to dig deep. But yeah, so that's one that's like still kind of like on the surface, and I'm still kind of figuring it out. I feel like over the last couple of months, I've really had a new appreciation for my mom. I've made whole on that side of the family. I talked to my grandmother on that side of the family. I talked to my aunt on that side of the family. So that's pretty cool. Definitely learned some good history that I would have never have known of.
No, it's definitely always great to learn and know what's going on. And the dark times you went through, what were some things that you were able to, do that helped you through those dark times? Is there something that you were able to do to keep your mind off, or what were some things that you were going through at that time?
Look, man, work is always an outlet for me.
Yeah.
So work and working out, those are kind of like two of my favorite things, right? And then also valuing the relationships that I have and that I had that I was really into, right? When COVID hit, like I was always a guy that had to be up super early in the morning, had to get, out of my house by 8:30, get to the office and like be here all day, all night. COVID hit and that stuff changed. It changed me, and it changed my approach to how I want to manage my time and actually invest my time in the people around me. So yeah. And, now that we're pretty much past that time for the most part, right. Now I take that time and I manage it on my own terms. Like some days I'm out of the house super early. Other days I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hang out with my wife for a little bit in the morning while the kids are at school, so I actually get some time with her now. We can talk without chaos going on around us. So again, there's like that little like sense of control. Like I'm gonna do it this way or do it this way whenever I want to. In the same breath, aside from the control, I just kind of let it flow. So that's
it has changed everyone, and same with me too. Like I love to work, but I like to have a life. So I work my ass off when whatever I'm doing, so that I can have the life that I want to live. A lot of people think they have to make all this money, and they're never around their family, and you're not a mentor to your kids. So it's definitely something that, and I'm glad you brought up the health kick. A lot of people are down that path. What do you think about pickleball? Pickleball is like so popular today.
Fun, man. Yeah, it's like it's everywhere, right? But it's a fun sport. It's definitely a fun sport. Whenever I get the opportunity to play it, I play it. My father-in-law, my mother-in-law live in a development with a pickleball court. So it's cool. It's fun. I don't play it as much as I would like to, but it's fun. Yeah, it's definitely fun.
It's so funny to me because I've been teaching, phys ed for this is my 22nd year. Right. And pickleball is like you don't have to be as active. So it's one of the ones that are unathletic kind of people can get going. But then if you watch stuff on TikTok and Instagram, they go nuts.
Yeah, you play with a couple athletes, you play with a couple competitive people, man. Trust me, you're playing to win. Like for me, there's no other way.
Now this leads into, and you brought up winning. And are you following Colorado football?
Oh, God, yeah, I love it.
Like Deion Sanders.
Been a Deion Sanders fan forever. I remember him coaching in high school. Like I've been a fan of his forever. He was one of my favorite players. I was Barry Sanders and Deion Sanders. Those were my two favorite football players growing up.
I loved how he was the two-sport athlete, like a Bo Jackson, and he played baseball and football. And now I watch him on TikTok, and he's doing his pregame, his postgame. He's a wonderful speaker. He motivates his players. And the amazing thing is he took why would he go to Colorado? Why? He was able to do what he wanted to do. He basically unloaded everybody, got all new players, did and only looked for like the right mindset as well. And he's winning.
That's he went there and cleaned house, and look, there's some people that just have that innate drive and that innate ability to just fucking win.
Yeah.
And like, those are the people, I'm sorry if I curse, but
no, it's real, man. We're being real.
Yeah. And those are the people you want. Like we're talking about, you want people in your corner, but you want the right people in your corner. Those are the right people you want in your corner. And those people that know how to win, know how to choose the right people to get in their corner.
He's having ex-NFL players coming out. I just heard he's with Warren Sapp. He was at Emmitt Smith. There's the environment in Colorado. If you're a business owner, are going insane because people are coming out in hotels and restaurants. You can't find places there because it's the most popular thing right today.
It's a huge revenue generator, without a doubt. Like college football in general is a huge revenue generator. Bringing somebody of his stature and doing what he does and actually it's an energy thing, right? Like bringing Deion Sanders' energy to Colorado, it changed the entire dynamic, not only of the state, the school, the town, the kids, the people, all college football. Like that's you put on ESPN, man. Like that's all you see. I flip through my Instagram. It's like Deion Sanders every other freaking post.
Yeah. And his sons, one that's the quarterback, one on defense.
Yeah.
What is his son has a Rolls Royce or something? Like
now you can make some money as a college.
It's insane. Yeah. What is it called? NIL.
Johnny Manziel broke the mold, man. He broke the mold.
They make money even in high school. These kids are making money where you couldn't do that back in the day. And they have their whole, Instagram, or they have TikTok, or they have videos, and they're making money. And my thing is, I'm hoping they're learning how to apply the money and save and invest. Everyone knows how to always focus on how to make the money, but then they don't understand what to do when they have it.
Yeah. It's easy to make it. It's hard to save it, man. It's easy to make it, hard to save it. So, you gotta know where to put it. You have to have the mindset to be able to put it in those places, even when you don't have it. So, but yeah, that's key, especially at that young age. Like you start throwing a 18, 19-year-old kid, a couple $100,000 here, a couple $100,000 there. Next thing you know, he's driving a $500,000 car. Like it gets to your head. It definitely gets to your head. And if you can't handle that psychologically, I mean, you're doomed. Is that it?
No doubt about it. Wow. I want to shift gears and go back to how you're developing your own team.
Yeah.
When you were first involved in a solo agent, what are some of the challenges that you're having now with developing a team?
So as a solo agent, you're everything, right? Like you're the person that writes the contract. You're the person that negotiates the contract. You show the house, you list the house, you do all the back end stuff. When you have a team, you have, the first hire is your admin, right? Your executive administrative assistant. So when you have that person, it takes all that back end stuff off of you or off of me, the agent, to be able to focus on my job of getting new clients, servicing these clients, and really spending my time, energy, and effort on the stuff that's really the most important, right? And I think above all that too is lead generation. Like if you're stuck in, as a solo agent, you're in the middle of 4 or 5 deals or 8 deals, whatever it is, like there's a max capacity to that, because you have to service the clients, you have to deal with the issues, you have to continue to do everything you need to do and do the back end stuff. Like when do you have time to generate leads, which is the most important part of not only this business, pretty much any business, because without leads, you can have the best product in the world. If you don't have anybody to sell it to, you're not making any money. So the part of growing a team and having a team, I'm not only like managing the deals and, all this other stuff as a solo agent, but now I'm managing other people. Right. I'm managing other personalities. I'm managing, we're in a pretty high stressful business, right? So I have to step up as a leader to these people to keep everybody's, psyche in check. So, there's a huge coaching proponent to it, right? Like I have to show up differently, and it's really just a switch of a role. In the same breath, I still sell too. So it's like, I got like 2 jobs in one, and it gets crazy. It gets challenging, no doubt. Like there's so many days where I'm focused on like the team stuff and the other people stuff, and really helping the other people and developing them, and working on their issues, where some of my stuff gets kind of like put to the side. And I understand that, because this is what I got into. And then there's other days where I'm like super focused on my stuff, and these things are, it's like clockwork. They're just going and going and going and cranking out, and it's kind of running itself a little bit. But yeah, it's a completely different role, but it also encompasses 2 roles.
Right. A lot of balance has to happen. And lead generation, like you said, it's everywhere. No matter what, whoever's watching us, if you're in real estate, if you're in insurance, mortgage, if you're into multi-level marketing and network, whatever it is, you still got to have people to talk to. Yeah. Now, a lot of people get, they think, oh, I'm going to throw a post out there, I'm going to get all this business. That's lead generation. Or I'm going to send an email out, I'm going to get all this business. There's a number of different things that someone should be doing, because not all of them work all the time, right?
Not all of them work all the time. I'm a big fan of doing everything. And then you step back, you look at what's working, and you do more of that. And you do that until it doesn't work anymore. You do everything, you see what's working, you do more of that, right? Like you can have 20 things that you have to do. And of those 20 things, you can essentially just draw a line right under number 5 or number 6 and focus on those things. And those are going to be your top money producing activities. So we call them, I call them DIPA, direct income producing activities. And, when you begin to focus on that, it becomes like an energy thing, right? Like you put more focus into the stuff that's actually working, that's actually bringing in the clients, that's bringing in the money, and you get more of it.
You got to be doing income producing things for sure. You got to have that mindset. You got to have the ability to consistently, you have those days things are not going to go right for you. And you got to, think through them and reflect on what you've done in the past in the same situation. How do I keep going? And that's what I think with a coach, that you can help your team go through those times, because you've had a number of experiences from your past that you can help with them currently. Yeah, man.
Look, 20 plus years in the business, I'm still learning new stuff every day. So, but that, like, that's just me. Like, I'll never get to a point where I'm like, I seen it all, I know it all. Like, I'm also still learning too. However, like, my thought is my capacity to learn is unlimited. So no matter what I learn that's new, I still have all this stuff packed in there that I've learned over the years, which allows me to be able to communicate and articulate to people, on my team, whether it's people out here, whether it's people, on a video or anything like that, to be able to help them as well.
Now, when you were doing video, you do video, you use video for a while now.
Yeah.
Is that more of a brand thing for you, or is it lead generation or networking? How do you kind of, in your mind, you're using in that resource?
I think there's a couple different parts to it, right? I feel like a lot of video, especially, kind of nowadays, what a lot of people are doing, honestly, look, I think there's a marketing aspect to it. I think there's a branding aspect to it, but I think a lot of it is ego driven, my honest opinion.
Yeah.
Do you need to do a video for every single listing where you're walking through and you're showing the tour through? Probably not. Do people do that? Yes, just so they could be on the video. Does it help with the marketing or branding? Yeah, look, I think it does to a point. I do think there's like a point of diminishing return there. If people keep saying the same thing over and over and over and over again, like people, it gets like diluted or desensitized, right? Like people just keep scrolling through it. So if you come out with some different stuff, and if it's like a specific house, like I love doing them on the luxury houses, because that's what gets eyeballs. Like that's what people want to see, right? Like everybody used to love MTV Cribs for that purpose. But then you got guys like Sir Hant, or like, Josh Flagg, Josh Altman, like all those like $1 million listing guys, like they're all over TV and people love that stuff and they're all over social media. But guys like that are on like like another level. Right. Like that's like saying I play, high school football versus like those guys in the NFL.
Right.
So yeah, it's a different league when it comes to stuff like that. But I can tell you, over the last couple of months in the summer, like I kind of fell out of love with social media. And I'm like, I'm going to do this stuff without going crazy, posting all this stuff. And it like, because it began to feel like inauthentic. And I'm a big person of like, do whatever it takes to get it done and all this other crap too. But, it got to a point where I'm like, it's like, for what, and I'm really, really getting back into it. So, but it's a necessary part of the business, for everybody. So
I think it's with the value. If you have that on top of your mind, if you're educating people, you're teaching, that's where it comes in really handy.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. I know people that are not selling a lot of homes, but you look at their Instagram page, you think they're a superstar. And I know people that are killing it, like top of the top of the top, that don't even have a Facebook account, right? Like somebody does some of their Facebook stuff and it's like super generic and they don't do anything crazy, that are at the top of the pack. So social media is not like the end all be all, like you said. It's good to post, and I think there's like a false sense of like business or busyness when people are posting on social media. Like a lot of people run out there and do house tours of other people's listings to make it look like it's their listing. Like, you're not fooling anybody, right? Because like you're going to come across as inauthentic in that video, or somebody's going to call you on it and you're going to talk to them and you're not going to know half the stuff about it because it's not your house or your listing rather. So there does become a point of diminishing return. And I'm a true believer of being authentic, right? And like, you want more business, the best thing you could do to get more business is pick this thing up and just start talking to people, right? Do events, get in front of people. Like, the social media stuff is great. And I'm sure there's plenty of guys that are out there like truly killing, like, I made this much money on Instagram and this much money on Facebook. I made a lot of money through Facebook over the years and through social media, no doubt about it. But is that like the end all be all for business? Absolutely not.
No, I definitely agree. You should. People are afraid to do video. They're afraid to put stuff out there. They have like their profile is private instead of being public. So now you're like a secret agent in this respect, and nobody's going to know what the hell you're doing because you're not putting yourself out there. Then I love how people think that, I'm going to go join one of those $1 million listing agents, on the TV. I'm going to join their team. I'm going to make all this kind of money because they're leading the team, which is complete horseshit, because we know the company that you work for is not the end all as well. It's you who's going to be making all the sales anyway, not the company.
People buy people, right? Like, and when I say buy, I mean buy into, right? So if I walk through the door of a person that's looking to sell their house, they buy into me, my principles, my beliefs, right? And my mission and what I do, what I bring, what I can serve to them and their families. So it's, it's not, I hate to say it, but like, it's got nothing to do with the flag that you're flying in your brokerage. It's got nothing to do, like, yeah, that stuff might help, right? Like we're the number 2 brokerage in the Garden State MLS, number 1 in Passaic County, so like, yeah, that stuff is cool to say, but if I'm a seller, like, okay, great. What does that mean for me? Like, what are you going to do for me? I'm hiring,
right.
So yeah, look, whatever tool you can use in the tool chest, I'm a big fan of using it, but at the end of the day, people buy people. Right? Buy into people.
No, I definitely agree. Having face-to-face time, meeting different people, going to events, getting outside your comfort zone. Yeah. I always say you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because if you're doing things that everyone else is doing, you're not going to be different. But you want to be different so you can grow. But people don't, want to take a chance or try things.
Be different to a point, right? You walk into a listing appointment with like pink hair or something like that.
Right.
So, no offense to people with pink hair, but it was the first thing I thought of. But you have to get uncomfortable. You have to get comfortable with getting uncomfortable, and that's a saying that I've loved throughout the years in my life as well. And it really goes beyond the comfort zone, right? Like you have to be comfortable outside of your comfort zone, like. If there's something that you feel uncomfortable doing, like picking up the phone and calling this, $2 million listing, or this $2 million expired listing, or this $2 million property when you're doing circle prospecting, you're like, I shouldn't do it, and you start to get like phone reluctance and all this stuff. Like, that's when you should do it. That's when you should do it. You have to stop thinking about it and just literally take the action to do the thing that you don't want to do.
Right. Which is a lot of things. And people get, they hide behind the computer sometimes, sending out emails instead of actually having that face-to-face, belly-to-belly conversations with people. And
I call it busyness versus business.
I like that. A lot of people think that, they want to meet the person and they're going to kind of basically throw up on them, all their service, their product, whatever they're selling. Nobody wants to hear that stuff in the beginning. You want to get to know somebody, know what their beliefs are, what they're thinking about doing, know if there's any pain points before you can give a solution to their problem. But people like to jump the gun.
I would say God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? So let's use that ratio.
I think that's an important thing for those that are watching. I know we have Charlene just popped in from Florida. I see a bunch of you joining. We appreciate if you guys have questions, definitely drop them in the comments. I love, we talked about some sports. We talked about some health. I love you're a big mindset guy. Yeah. That's an important thing. Was there any books you've been reading recently?
The Power of One More by Ed Milet. That was probably one of my favorite recent books. That was a great book. Definitely a great book.
Is there 1 or 2 nuggets you really took from that book? I know he's a popular guy. A lot of people are watching him on podcasts, etc.
Yeah, I mean the whole premise of the book is essentially and I'm very oversimplifying it. By a lot, because there's tons of nuggets in there. But if your goal is to make 100 calls, make 101. And, if you make 101 calls, that's, you do that 5 days a week, that's 250 calls more than you would have made. That's 250 calls more than everybody else making 100 calls. Mm-hmm. Over the course of 4 years, that's 1,000 more contacts you just made, right? By default, you will get more by doing that. And it's just one more, right? It's like a quantum leap. It's like a small little jump. So yeah, I mean, that's really that's the biggest takeaway, right? Like the things you don't want to do, if you're already doing them, just do one more. Just do one more. You're at the gym, you're doing 8 reps, do 9.
And going to the gym, doing that extra is going to help you. Everyone should be going to the gym. Everyone should be, focused on their health, because if you're not alive, you're not going to be there for what the business you're doing, the family that you have. So
I'm obsessed with the gym right now, man. I'm obsessed with the gym. So back in April, I got a picture that I was like, I've always been like a fit dude, right? And I guess kind of like over the last couple of years, I let myself go a little bit, right? To even talk about this time, this time that we were talking about in the beginning here. And, I look back at this picture, I'm like, this picture is my effing inspiration. And so I was just showing Tyler from my team, my picture back in April versus my picture now. He's like, holy crap. So totally different person. So I'm sure I'll put that on Instagram at some point, but
it's important. And a lot of people are afraid to do that, to put out information, put out pictures. But I've been doing it for over a couple of 3 years.
Yeah. Yep. You look great.
It's important to do it because it's not, I want to, like you said, inspire others, motivate others. Because people think, I don't have time. I got kids. I'm married. I got jobs. It's important to find time for you.
So we have time what we make time for.
Right. It's always enough in there. You just have to be able to find it. Sometimes I like to go in the morning. I like to do the morning stuff. But I have a little one. I have almost a year old. He's almost a year old. Everyone don't know if he's going to get up in the middle of the night. So I'm like, I'm not going to put myself at 5 when I'm going to be up at 3. So it's like, I'll wait till they go to bed at night and get my time in. And don't have to worry about how long it is. I can do whatever I want to do and still focus on, doing that one more. That's a huge thing that people should take, no matter what, phone calls, doing those emails, setting up, appointments for other people. Do one more and watch what it does to you.
Yeah, man. That's it. Just one more. Make sure you make time for your wife too, right? That's one thing we didn't touch on relationships here. So that's a whole nother crazy podcast for another day. But that's important too. It's important too.
I agree with you. It's important.
we get so caught up in daddy mode and career mode. Like there's like these three facets: daddy mode, career mode, relationship mode, right? And look, I would love to say that there's a balance in life, right? But it's more like a counterbalance, because there's so many times when like one thing is out of balance, the other thing is not in balance, and then the other thing is going really well. So it's, you just gotta be aware, right? As you keep your head in a swivel, look here, look here, look here, just know everything that's going on.
One thing about the wife, every single morning I make coffee for her. That's the one thing I can always say. I do.
Coffee cup. My wife sleeps. I go to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning, so she's sleeping until 6:30 when the kids are in school.
Yep,
she's like 7:30 ish, maybe even a little bit later sometimes. They're not in school, but yeah, every time I can make a coffee, I can. But I make sure a coffee cup is ready.
Yep.
Coffee pod next to it. It's like if you could start your morning with gratitude and doing something for somebody else as soon as you wake up, you already set yourself up for success for that day.
No doubt about it, man. That was a great finish. Those that are watching, you just pop it in. Definitely check out the description. All of Shawn's information is there. Connect with him. Have a call with him. Network. Don't be afraid to send an email. Drop a comment. Questions here. A lot of people don't like making comments on videos, which is crazy. It's a lot of courage. So ask those questions. Put it out there. We will definitely get back to you. Shawn, I appreciate you coming on as always. Definitely a wealth of knowledge and lots of golden nuggets here. And we hope everyone else has an awesome rest of their day.
Cool. Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.